Hey dudes, what's going on? We're sitting in the truck today, and kind of getting into that or close to the end of the project, doing little things stuff, and I'm putting a horn button kit in today. And I remembered that I've never done this on video before for the channel, so I thought I'd put up a video and show you guys how to do it. Now we've got a brand new horn button kit here. The new style horn button kit that we got from our sponsor, Mike Riley at Big Mike's Motor Pool. His information is linked in the description below, so you can find what you need from him. And here is what we have. Now I've already taken the old assembly out, okay? And I actually already replaced this connector. It comes with one in there because usually these are rotted. So now here's the horn button kit. You have seen this in another video, in an unboxing video, but I'm just now getting around to installing it. Here's your part number if you need it. So what we have in the kit is, first of all, we had this. It came with one brand new connector, so I've already used that. Should have thought a little bit ahead, but those are kind of hard to put on video anyway, especially when you're holding the camera, because I don't have a good way to mount this right now. So we've got a new horn button wire. Now this wire, there's your part number on this particular wire, if it'll focus. This is not applicable to the deuce and a half. This is for your two-piece steering column and like the 5 tons of power steering and stuff. So we're gonna set that off to the side. We've got a new outside spacer insulator thing. We've got a gasket that goes under the spacer insulator thing in there. Okay, so we're going to set these two up here because we don't need them just quite yet. We've got a new button. Okay, we've got an accessory pack with the new snap ring and the new spring and 3 new screws. Make it look all nice and pretty. And we've got 1 new O-ring. This is important. Now I have already cleaned up that this thing. When it comes in the package, it's got that white preservative powder all over it. I just cleaned that. I cleaned the steering wheel. You know, you get that black kind of stuff on it after the truck's been sitting a while, algae or whatnot. We get it a lot around here because of pollen and dust and stuff. It's probably actually mold, but whatever. And then under your documentation here, you've got the gasket that would go on the side of the steering column down by your feet, and with the 2-piece column where the wire actually comes out. But since we don't need that, that's going to stay in the box. Now, only thing you'll need to do this is if you're changing this connector, you'll need your wire crimpers and a Phillips screwdriver and a piece of sandpaper. And this piece of sandpaper is important because the top of this nut needs to be clean so you get a good ground. Okay, when you take this horn button all off, the first thing you check to make sure that it is in fact the horn button kit is you need to turn your master power switch on and get either a test light or a multimeter and put your probe in here and ground it to the nut here and see if it lights up. If it doesn't light up, then your problem is somewhere else in the system. You've lost power. Because all this button does is complete the ground for the whole circuit. Everything else, the whole rest of the circuit is hot all the time, or should be. So what we're going to do is take a little piece of sandpaper. I don't care what grit you use. This is probably 180 or something, but just clean up any rust that may be on the nut. Doesn't have to be like super bright shiny, but the better you get it, the longer it'll go without giving you issues, you know. So clean that up a bit. And you know, if you want, you can even, I don't know, zip the nut off with an impact and put this thing in a vise and clean it up with a wire wheel, or throw it in a sandblast cabinet if you have it. Whatever, you know, there's many ways you can go about cleaning this nut up, but you really just need to, needs to be clean like that. So the next thing you'll do is you'll gather all your parts, one central area. Go ahead and drop about half of them because that's important part of the process. Don't lose this little O-ring. You want to put your gasket in. It just lays in there. It's not a super tight fit. Okay. Then you're going to want to put your outer ring on. And this is where you'll need your new screws. You can already see my steering wheel is a little misshapen. It's they all do that when they start to get old. So sometimes it helps to just stick the screw all the way through and then try to get it aligned with one of the holes. Yes, it just a little help to get it aligned with the hole in the gasket. And it is important to use all of these new parts. Don't reuse old stuff if you don't have to. You shouldn't have to if you get this kit. Use all of the new stuff. We're going to go ahead and tighten these screws down. We're not going to tighten them so much that we deform the ring, okay? That is not necessary, and all it does is cause problems later on. That's the reason a lot of this stuff gets deformed, is because this stuff gets over tight. You see, I tightened that a little too much there. See that? So you want to back it off just until that kind of evens itself up again. And that's all it needs. Doesn't have to be gorilla tight. It's not going to come out. You just want to snug it down. Okay, so that's good there. Remember, we got that soft rubber gasket behind it that's much softer than this, so if you stop just before you start deforming this button, then you've got the gasket behind it sealed. So the next thing you'll need is your new spring. What the spring does is it completes the ground between the nut here and the back of the button. So this button actually has contacts inside of it. So when you push it, it closes the contacts between the center wire here and the metal here. But you still need the spring to complete the circuit from here to the nut. So we're going to put our spring on here, and it'll just sit in there. This gasket, or the O-ring rather, goes in here. The point of this is you're trying to keep moisture out of the horn button assembly, and that would be either from rain, weather, being submerged, or just from your hand sweat. Then you'll plug your horn button in, and this is not going to be fun with one hand. Hang on, this is dumb. Let me see if I can set you here for a second. I have no idea how that's framed, so I hope you can see something useful at least. So, alright, I got it plugged in. So now we're going to try to push our wire back down in there, and they always will fight you a little bit. There's way more wire in there than there needs to be, but you have to have that so you can actually pull it out far enough to work on it. So it's just something you got to deal with. And I really suggest you make sure you've got your accessory switch off before you start putting this back in, because you'll be rudely awakened. So we've got our horn pushed in, and now we just put our ring in. And if you look at it, it is offset. This is one direction. You want to put it in like that with the tail facing down. So we're gonna. This is usually a pain even with two hands. So, and now that I'm thinking about this, it's a good idea to put this facing down like this, just so stuff doesn't get trapped under here, like, you know, sweat pools and stuff. I don't know, probably not as big of an issue as I'm making it out to be, but over years it does. That's why these rings rust out, fall apart. Ugh. Let's try this again. Can you see me? Should be able to. Although you can't see what I'm doing. Son of a bitch. Sometimes it helps to use a screwdriver to kind of manipulate it, but I'm trying not to scratch the paint on the snap ring, because that's how you start rust. Sometimes you just can't help it though. Alright. Now, you can look at that and you can see it's not all the way in. Okay, it's mostly in. It's important to make sure you get the thing all the way in, all the way around, or it will pop out on you when you're driving down the road. You might be surprised actually at how many of these I've seen, just the little rings, like laying on the ground in the parking lots and motor pools and stuff, because they pop out and dudes don't notice, and then later on they're driving along and suddenly you look down and this thing's just dangling. Yeah. So there you go. You need just a little, tool to help you manipulate that. Your wire crimpers will work, a screwdriver, whatever. Our horn button is installed, and if the wires were plugged into the solenoid, it would work. So there you go, guys. There is your M35A2 late style button horn installation. It's the same process for your 5 tons, all of the 5 tons, even, well, all the way up until the LMTP series. I think they have a different button, but I could be mistaken. I can't remember. So thanks for watching, dudes. Be sure to check out our sponsors. Like I said before, Big Mike's Motor Pool. His information, his link is in the description here. Also, RabcoParts.com. They're our other sponsor that gives us all our paints and stuff. So check that out as well if you need anything as far as that goes. And check out our Facebook group. It's Tactical Repair Channel on Facebook. So if you need help or any advice or anything, that's a good place to get it. Post up there or in the comments here, and you'll get help either way. So we'll see you later, dudes. Thanks.